Mental health. What exactly comes to mind when you think about mental health? Is it a positive correlation or is it a negative one? Whether you correlate one with something negative or positive, everyone has mental health. People deal with different situations, and when it comes to college students, there's so many new responsibilities that are taken on that cause the development of these mental health illnesses. In this presentation, I'll be focusing on 3 of the major mental health illnesses that affect college students. And these illnesses are anxiety, depression, and eating disorders. Mental health illnesses aren't something that's necessarily visible to the human eye, so it is very difficult when it comes to identifying it within others or within yourself. To start off, anxiety is one of the leading mental health illnesses that affects college students, according to the American Institute of Stress. Some of the symptoms that correlate with anxiety are nervousness, unease, sweating, the inability to focus. So when it comes to college students, again, some of the things that may affect someone's anxiety or allow someone to develop anxiety is the overwhelming workload. So this is more often for people that maybe have a job. So some students work, and because of this, they have to be responsible for their workload outside of school and then their classroom work. And this is quite difficult to deal with. They also have to adapt to a new learning style. So as we all know, COVID-19 has really impacted everyone at this point, and we have now changed into an online educational system. And while this may be easy and comfortable for some, others may not have the same time adapting to this new form of learning. In relation to outside problems, people may have a difficult time communicating. So when it comes to school, people's anxiety levels may increase because of their inability to communicate. So sometimes people have a difficult time communicating with people around them in large populated areas, but this could also be something that happens online, maybe having or being scared of asking for help, which can lead to maybe falling behind in a class, or maybe even losing points on an assignment because you didn't know what to do. Anxiety affects people in all aspects, whether it's something very minuscule, such as like not being able to get up and like build up the courage to give a presentation, to something a little larger, maybe someone feeling like completely unmotivated to get up and do anything. But this also leads to maybe lead to a development in depression. So that starts off my second point, which is how depression affects college students. So in school, people tend to have a lot of stuff on their mind. So for example, medical students are so as a major, medical students have a large workload. So according to the article Prevalence of Depression Symptoms Among Medical Students, overview of systematic reviews by Mr. Wilson Tam, they studied medical students, and the results showed that medical students have a 36% rate of developing depression due to the workload. And some other things that may affect this are financial burdens, because so college is, maybe for some it's inexpensive, but for others it may be something that they have to work extremely hard for. So financial burdens are something that really take a toll on students, and because of this, it's something else to worry about. So going to school is costing money now. And although there are scholarships and other ways to obtain the money to be able to pay for college, this may not be as easy for some as it is for others. And the effects that depression has on their home life, maybe family situations, teachers and other classmates aren't aware of what goes on at home. So this depression can increase in students. Maybe people who are going through a divorce, maybe relationship issues, maybe issues with their siblings. It varies from different spectrums. Also, there are a lot of responsibilities that they may have to take on at home, such as maybe more chores, maybe transportation. There's a variety of other responsibilities which may be overwhelming and increase stress levels, which would also lead to increasing one's depression due to the overwhelming amount of work. So people face depression, but in addition, this could also lead people to look for comfort in other areas. So people resort to other things such as maybe self-harm, maybe or other methods which are not necessarily good for a person. But one of the examples that affects a lot of college students is people turning to food. This isn't maybe like binge eating maybe once a night, but from a study ran by Daniel Easterberg, the paper Eating Disorder Symptoms Among College Students states that about 56% of students that were surveyed, 13.5% of women indicated that they faced an eating disorder during college, and 3.6% of men faced this same issue. But out of this 56% of students, only 20% received help. So when it comes to college students, people know about the freshman 15, and when it comes to this situation, people believe that in their first year of college, students on average gain about 15 pounds due to the extra amount of stress and maybe the adjustments that are going on in their life. So people have to adapt to a new environment, and because of this, maybe they may not have the finances to buy the best groceries, the most healthy alternatives, and they also may have distractions. Maybe there's too much work and there's not enough time to prepare some healthy meals. And as we know, the healthier alternatives are a little more expensive, and not everyone may have the money to be able to afford this. So eating disorders roots from so many things. In relation to students, there are different reasons for which students fall in the path of eating disorders, which then leads to greater consequences. Students in today's day and age have more than enough to deal with, and in addition to that, mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and eating disorders are another toll that a large amount have to face. They have to go through many changes, from changing to a childhood and adjusting to a new adult life. This amount of change causes a lot of students to develop mental health disorders, and because of this, the information can help a person themselves or those around them. So, but to wrap up, some of the ways that you could deal with any of these mental health disorders is by talking to family members, consulting teachers, maybe talking to them about your situations at home that they are not aware of. Teachers are not aware of what students are dealing with at home, and if there's different adjustments or situations that are inevitable, it's good to communicate. So communication is key, and by being able to identify these symptoms and communicating them out, this can increase the amount of efficiency that a student can have in their outside life as well as their school life.